Hey, Chef Gibbs again. This is another video that we're doing for the Trego food pantry here. Sometimes it comes to pass that we have some people that get these or get some help from us that are unable to get some of the meat, and like this time around we were unable to pass out any meat. And I've had a few people ask me to do this video on how to make a meal without meat, or a dish that they can have made readily available with something that they don't have a lot of meat in the house, or they don't want to go buy any meat. So what I've done is I've gone to the food pantry real quick tonight and I've grabbed two things: can of Bush's Best black beans and a box of this cheesy tuna helper. The reason we're using the tuna helper, actually if you're using black beans, if you have the black beans, you're really going to want to go with something like a white sauce. If you have something like a red sauce like the spaghetti or lasagna meal and you don't have any ground beef, you can use a can of kidney beans, the red beans, any of that stuff will work. But the black beans will work in the red stuff just as well, but they tend to look a lot better and come out a lot better when you use them in the white stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to go off the instructions on the back just like you would. It says, what is this, 2 cups of milk, cup of hot water, 3 tablespoons margarine or butter, and then the packets on the inside. We're going to go ahead and add all this to the skillet and check back in once that's done. Alright, we're back. We've got all our sauce assembled in the pan, and we're just adding the pasta to it. This also calls for a can of tuna, which we're not going to use. Just stir it in really quick. It's worth noting in this recipe that I used powdered milk. It's a very cost-effective way of cooking. You never really want to use, especially if you're trying to do a budget, you never really want to use regular milk out of the fridge, because you're never going to taste the difference. Well, if you put it on your cereal, you will, but you're never going to taste the difference if you use it in a cooking dish. Something like this, you're never going to taste the difference. This, actually, to my surprise, is a yellow cheese. It doesn't look like that. It says pasta and creamy cheese sauce dinner. It doesn't look too very yellow in this, but it actually is kind of yellow, like your mac and cheese that you would get. But that's okay, we're going to go ahead and use this anyway. You'll notice I haven't added the beans yet. The thing with these beans that you get in a can, they're already cooked, seasoned, ready to go. All we're going to do with this is pour it into a strainer, a bowl, something like that, and kind of rinse off all the stuff that comes with it. And if you put them in now, they'll just kind of overcook, come apart, and you'll actually wind up with kind of like a black pasta or a bluish pasta. And we really don't need that. We're going to add this right in towards the very last and stir it in there. And it's going to kind of cool down the pasta, get it ready for our family to eat it. And it's going to bring the beans up to heat, up to temp. And that's really all we need out of it. We're going to go ahead and stir this up. It's not quite done. I'm going to have to turn that down too. It's really cooking good. We're going to stir this up. We're going to let this pasta cook in the sauce like it's intended to do. And we're going to go ahead and check back in here when this is done. It's time to add the beans. Alright, we're back and our pasta is pretty much cooked. Getting nice and it's getting nice and sticking to the bottom here, so I'm turning the heat down. It's a nice, good, cheesy pasta. And it's at this point we're going to take our can of black beans. We're going to just dump them in there. Let's see how many of that. Oh yeah, that came out right. Got a little bit too much water here in the bottom. I'll just drain that back out a little bit. Put that back in there. There we go. We're going to stir this right in there like this. Go to about a simmer, a little bit above a simmer. Stir this stuff in just like so. And at this point, if you had some shredded cheese from the freezer or anything extra like that, you could throw that in on top. But I'm going to go ahead and cover that up. And we're going to let this simmer for an additional about 5 or 10 minutes on low heat and see what we have when we come back. Alright, we're back. We're done with our pasta. We're ready to plate that up. Pull this off of here. Bring it out. Give it a quick stir. And I'd say this came out just as stupid good as we thought it was. Black beans, real contrast with the cheesy noodles there. I would rather have this than tuna personally because I'm not a big fan of tuna. Oops. I'm going to go ahead and plate this up. Alright, and we're going to go ahead, a little pinch of parsley from one of my other recipes sitting around here that I've chopped up. Go ahead and garnish it up with that. And I'd say that'd be a real good meal for a family on a budget.